Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Be sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the subscription button on your screen. Today I'm going to cover Chapter 9, Cellular Respiration and Fermentation. So catabolic pathways yield energy by oxidizing organic fuels. Glycolysis harvests chemical energy by oxidizing glucose to pyruvate. After pyruvate is oxidized, citric acid cycle completes the energy yielding oxidation of organic molecules. During oxidative phosphorylation, chemiosmosis couples electron transport to ATP synthesis. Fermentation and anaerobic respiration enable cells produce ATP without use of oxygen. Glycolysis and citric acid cycle connect to many other metabolic pathways. So let's get started. So this is Chapter 9 and cellular respiration. So living cells require energy from outside sources. So that can be provided by, again, catabolic pathways yield the energy by oxidizing organic fuels. Okay, and so there is this oxidation reduction reactions, which basically is, and so a part of it oxidizes the reaction and the other part is being reduced. During cellular respiration, glucose is oxidized while oxygen is reduced to water. So we have molecules like you see here, NAD+, which is an electron acceptor. NAD+ is the oxidized form, and NADH is the reduced form of the same molecule. NADH is actually passes the electrons to the electron transport chain, and it's very important. Oxygen pulls electrons down to the chain in an energy yielding tumble. Energy yield is used to regenerate ATP. So cellular respiration is actually made of three major parts: glycolysis in cytosol, citric acid cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation in mitochondria. So each of them produce a number of ATP. So everything starts with the glucose in this model system, basically convert the two pyruvate and produces basically net two pyruvate, two ATP, and two NADH, and two protons. After pyruvate oxidized, citric acid cycle completes these energy yielding processes. So everything moves inside the acetyl-CoA now. So citric acid cycle, which basically also called Krebs cycle, breaks down the pyruvate to CO2. You can see here pyruvate convert the acetyl-CoA, and then that's get inside the citric acid cycle. There are 8 steps, each catalyzed by a specific enzyme, and it's fully shown here in this picture called citric acid cycle. So during oxidative phosphorylation, chemiosmosis couples electron transport to the ATP synthesis. And chemiosmosis is the energy coupling mechanism, which is electron transport in electron transport chain causes, or ETC causes proteins to pump hydrogen ions outside, and then they move inside this ATP synthase protein here. That's a special protein, ATP synthase, which produces the maximum number of ATP. This is chemiosmosis, uses ATP synthase. So together with ETC plus chemiosmosis is the oxidative phosphorylation part of cellular respiration. Here is a summary. It shows actually that part can produce 26 to 28 ATP, while citric acid cycle produces 2 ATP, and glycolysis produces 2 ATP. If you add them together, total maximum ATP per glucose molecule is 30 to 32 ATP. Also, there is fermentation. If there is no oxygen situation, fermentation can actually produce 2 ATP. There are 2 types of fermentation. One is alcohol fermentation. The other one is lactic acid fermentation. Only some organisms can do this. Basically, alcohol fermentation produces 2 ethanol and 2 ATP. Lactic acid fermentation produces 2 lactate and 2 ATP. Some fungi and bacteria actually used to make cheese, yogurt, that's actually can be able to do that. Besides carbohydrates, we can also use proteins and fats to produce ATP in the cellular respiration. And cellular respiration is regulated with feedback mechanisms. Again, The ATP, excess amount of ATP can go and inhibits the enzyme phosphofructokinase to slow down the ATP production. This concludes our chapter 9, cellular respiration and fermentation. See you in our next video.